Position, the multi-spares racing for Peters Motorsports starts alongside Mr. Consistency, Adam Bresington on the front row, John Bowe and Stephen Johnson, as it should be, joined at the hip on row number 2. Bruce Williams and Cameron Mason, the local man starting out at 6. Jason Gomersall and Cam Tilley, and Brad Tilley off the 5th row with Tony Kay.
Best ever non-reverse grid starting positions for both Bruce Williams and also Cameron Mason. They performed very, very well. And watch out for Cameron Tilley, the 6-cylinder Hemi pacer. Really suits this street circuit. Brother Brad lining up just a position behind him in that bright green GTHO Falcon. There are different ways of extracting speed in these cars, and they are about the two most extreme you can get in this field. This drag race to turn 1 will be really interesting, Matt. It's not a long run into that brief right-hand kink and then the sharp left-hand turn that takes them up Watt Street. But there's more horsepower in the Chevy Camaro. It should be quicker on the run into turn 1. Ryan Hansford, though, has got the ideal racing line on the inside. And what about Stephen Johnson? He must beat John Bowe to keep his championship alive.
A few cars still failing to take their spots up at the back here, but we're underway for the first race in the Touring Car Masters, and Adam Bresington will lead us just into turn number 1. He just got the white line spares entry pulled up in time, and Hansford already attacking him on the run up Watt Street to turn number 2, but it was a fairly tardy start from the guys at the back there.
Yeah, they didn't quite get formed up for the rolling start, but to be honest, it probably helped everyone get through turn 1 without any real drama. So good, clean start. Bit hairy coming down the hill. Bruce Williams on the outside of Cameron Mason. Didn't work for Whincup yesterday. Mason today, though, held on. But that's 350 cubic inches compared to 308 the run into turn 1. The Chevy Camaro gets in front for white line racing. Adam Bresington, who joined this team midway through last year, yet to win a Touring Car Masters race.
Could this be the day? He's had a handful of top 3 results this year, and now the 2 championship combatants side by side on the run past Sports Scratchley for the first time, and Johnson using the legs of the big Mustang moves up to another position into 3rd now, and that's big news for him.
JB just slow on corner exit, and the extra horsepower of the Ford Mustang allowed Stevie J to get up the inside, and then the drag race down the hill over the bumps. Great bit of racing, and that is critical for the championship. So 5 points coming into the race, the margin will come down. And this is the view from Cameron Mason. He's in the box seat. He's running 5th. He's got a host of local friends and family here. The Mason family lives down on Lake Macquarie, not too far away from the racetrack. Talking about geography and watching a race car fire up the road at turn 1, but got it stopped and turned in. Right hand street continues on.
You're just as busy as Ryan then, going down to turn number 1. This is Bruce Williams, the AC Delco Tirana, sitting back watching Cam Mason. It's amazing when it's your home track how much your performance level raises. He's pushing John Bowe on the run down through turn 5 and 6.
JB's struggling. He's dropped off the back of Stephen Johnson and being harassed by the Shelby Mustang. They call it a GT350, somewhat tongue-in-cheek. Wasn't actually ever a Mustang model like that, but the Mason team have been very proud of this car and the development work they've put into it. Now, when they come back onto the start-finish straight, Matt, you'll see a lot of the boats lined up alongside the Esplanade here in Wharf Road, where the pit straight complex is. 4 of them are friends and family of the Mason clan, who have brought their boats up to park them there and cheer on the Team Mason Racing entry. This, by the way,
on property next year, by the way, parking out the front.
Prices will go up there.
Yes.
I would suggest. We should mention, and lost in all the excitement, this is the 250th Touring Car Masters race. So just to make the sheep station a little bit bigger, Matt, this is one with a little bit more meaning.
A bit of pride on the line as they come through to start lap number 3. Bresington, Hansford, Johnson, who just set the fastest lap of the race, 1:18.398 on the streets of Newcastle. Replays down at turn number 8. This is into turn number 9, watching the background of this shot. So I've done some patchwork around the backside of the circuit there too overnight. This was cool, wasn't it? Side by side, and Johnson swept across the front of the Wilson Security Tirana. This is the view on board with Cameron Mason.
And this is a very Adelaide 500 part of the circuit. You get that over-under through the 90-degree left and right corners there. And John Bowe was compromised on the exit. Stephen Johnson just drag raced him out of the corner and went by. Now in qualifying, practice yesterday morning, I should say, they broke a crown wheel and pinion in the rear axle of the Wilson Security Pace Holden Tirana. So so they're not running their favoured rear axle ratio. So they're not quite happy with that car and how it's getting out of the corners. And you can see there that it gave Stephen Johnson an advantage, and he's about to get another one. Now, as they run, he will lead the championship by 1 point going into the final race later on this afternoon. This has been a weekend of massive championship swings. We saw it in the main game yesterday. We saw it in Super 2. Will it happen in the Touring Car Masters as well?
Well, that's the second time now that Hans pinched the Who's Your Tyre on the multi-spares Tirana. And Johnson, he looks hungry. He wants the series win this year as he claws on the back of the Tirana to the top of turn number 2. Bressington is 2.2 seconds ahead. Could he do it today?
So Bressington's third in the championship. It was only 20 points off the series lead. That'll be 13 if they finish the way they are. Right of screen is a fairly high-powered conversation. Stephen Johnson's teammate, Roger Penske? I'm not sure. Stevie's still got any involvement down there at Shelby Power Racing. But the captain having a chat to Scott McLaughlin. And Stephen Johnson having a chat to the rear axle of his car about perhaps staying in line.
Here he is again. You couldn't help but get a little bit nervous around Roger Penske, regardless if you drove him or not.
Well, apparently I can't even talk about him without stumbling.
Exactly. Sweat on the brow, Gralsy. Down to the turn 11 hairpin. And Hansford making him work for this, but while they do that, this will extend the margin. First to second, he won't be able to do it there. Hansford, classic Hansford here. Right down the middle of the road. A great addition to this year's Touring Car Masters Series in a car that Kerry McMahon runs for the past couple of years. And now Johnson, more horsepower, should get the job done. But Hansford will hang tough on the inside here, side by side into turn number 1.
Yeah, the Tirana brakes better because it's a lighter car and it turns in better with a shorter wheelbase, but there's no substitute for cubic inches. Johnson with the drag race up Watt Street towards turn 2. And the Team Johnson Mustang, the most winning car in TCM history in the hands of John Bowe, now moves himself up to second place. And there's a few more valuable points for what will be our new championship leader if they finish the way they run.
And Bowe suddenly back into the mix too, so 2 Tiranas pushing the Mustang along as we approach the half-race distance mark of race 1 of the Touring Car Masters Series finale on the streets of Newcastle. Just the 2 races, not the 3 like we'd normally see. This would normally be the trophy race with a reverse grid.
Weren't people saying there'd be no overtaking at this racetrack?
Proved it wrong.
It's fine. So up the inside, turn 2. I like the comment that Fabian Coulthard made after the race yesterday. You've got to earn your overtakes at this place, and there's absolutely no doubt about that. Seen that even in the Touring Car Masters. Now Bowe looking at Hansford, who started strongly. That car's just dropped off a little bit. That team headed up by the very experienced former supercar racer Brett Peters, the multi-spares outfit from Queensland. They joined the category for the first time this year. They struggled with that car in the opening couple of rounds. They had handling issues, they had chronic power steering issues. And Ryan, I think, put on about 20 kilos of muscle mass, trying to hustle that car around Hidden Valley earlier this year in the heat in June. But they've got it sorted. It's been a contender. It almost won at Queensland Raceway in that amazing battle with Eddie Abelnica, who's watching from home this weekend. And now it's running at the front of the field. They're very much building towards next year. At the moment, he's trying to hold out John Bowe. Bressington by almost 3 seconds now. But Stephen Johnson was faster last time around, so he is slowly reeling in our race leader.
I remember talking to Ryan Hansen earlier in the year when they were having those power steering issues. Now, he's a very fit guy, but he looked really spent after those first 2 rounds. They're tough tracks to debut on too. Adelaide, then Winton.
Not wrong.
Whole lot of steering wheel work in those 2 tracks.
So Hansford dropping back more than Bowe coming forward. I don't think particularly happy with the Wilson Security pace car at the moment. This just isn't the kind of drive we've been used to seeing from a man who's won 90 of the 249 Touring Car Masters races that have been staged so far. A 5-time champion in this category. Bressington leads. We're halfway through. Johnson is next, then Hansford and Bowe. Unseen behind this battle is Bruce Williams, who's running 5th in the AC Delco Tirana. Cameron Mason still an outstanding 6th in the F3 Motor Auctions car. He's going well. Here's Bob Wisely. Down the escape road back of shot was Gavin Bullis, the 2-time champion, who's making a return this weekend. Unfortunately, the Ford Mustang looks like he's going no further. Some wave yellows down there.
This is going to stop another passing opportunity down here at turn number 6. There is The number 16 car returning to the championship after a bit of a hiatus.
Gavin was fast on practice on Friday, was solid in practice too yesterday morning, couldn't get it together in qualifying, but it was an interrupted session with a couple of red flags, so just didn't get a clear lap. But it's been basically 20 months out of the seat for the two-time champion. He won the third ever race in TCM history. Brad Tilley won the first, he's in the field, he's running 10th at the moment.
So Bow right on the back of Hanston now, big chunks of Hoosier tyre coming off the back of these cars at the turn 11 hairpin into the final turn. We start lap number 8 as the boats chill out on the harbour here in Bressington. The gap has levelled out here to 2 seconds as Johnson begins to reel him in now. There's the split times left-hand side of screen. Bow next needs to get past Hansford here. Championship will go right down to the very last race here today on the streets of Newcastle. Looking back to Jason Gomersall, Cam Tilley and Tony Karapolowski right now. 7th, 8th and 9th on the circuit. Brad Tilley in the background and Mark King still in the ex-Nigel Benson car, but he's been using for the majority of the season while they repair his car from that big incident early in the season. Gomersall runs a little bit wide there at the top of Watt Street. They'll settle into a single car formation down through turns 4, 5 and 6. How busy was it down here yesterday with spectators just jammed in around this part of the track?
It's an amazing sight. Just we keep talking about it, but we all mean it because it's just extraordinary what they've achieved here in the last couple of days in this build-up to this remarkable event. Chevy Camaro out in front. It's been a long time between drinks for Chevy in Touring Car Masters, with Tirana doing a lot of winning lately. Going to go back to the Clipsal 500, the Adelaide 500 in 2015. And the last time a Chevy Camaro won a race with Andrew Meadinghy behind the wheel of the very car that Adam Bressington is driving now. But it's not a done thing yet because there's still 4 laps to go. The gap has halved in the last 2 laps. 1.6 seconds now. Stephen Johnson going out after the Camaro as Bob Wisely gets slapped by a couple of fellow Holden Tirana runners. Now, coming into this weekend, you could have sworn that this would have been Tirana territory and they would have dominated, but at the moment they're battling over the final spot of the podium. Bruce Williams getting in on this as well.
He was busy yesterday during practice and qualifying as he seesaws away at the steering wheel of the rebuilt AC Delco Tirana after that big crash at Queensland Raceway earlier this year. Tiranas have copped the most damage, haven't they, through the field? Jason Gomersall was another one.
They have. Test the Tirana, they call it. Les Small engineered entry. They've done a lot of work on this car, developing it, and it's got so much better. Bruce getting back into the groove, driving really well. He's a busy boy, publisher of Auto Action magazine in his spare time when he's not driving the AC Delco entry, and looks after Jimmy Vernon's Toyota 86 as well in the 86 series.
A pretty big year for the team, and now he sits at the back of this Tirana trio into turn number 12. 1.8 seconds now. Johnson is closing. He's still got a bit of time here.
Fans around. I could be quite happy to deal with a Tirana Cup, so this is what we're getting. I'm probably a little bit partial to the brand. There's a Chevy out in front, a Ford Mustang in second, and then 3 Tiranas, third, fourth, and fifth. Behind them is Cameron Mason in the Mustang. Then Jason Gomersall, 7th. Heard from Jason this morning, says he gets more nervous watching Todd Hazelwood race than he does racing himself. Of course, Todd now leads the Dunlop Super 2 Series and will try and win that championship in front of Paul Dumbrell later on this afternoon. The curtain race into the second race in the Coates Hire Newcastle 500.
So much to come here today. It's down to turn 6 and into 7. That wave yellow still for Gavin Bullis, who never really got that car back onto the circuit.
Well done to race control for leaving that sector under wave yellow flags but not bringing out a safety car, so we can keep racing. The fans at the circuit still get the show. We get to see some cool battling. Yes, it's a potential overtaking opportunity, but I don't think we're losing too much in the show with that area under yellow flags.
Jim Policina coming back into the pits. The ex-Keith Kasulki, H. Manaro making his debut in the Touring Car Masters. So whether he's going to be serious full-time next year, he's coming in full-time.
That's plan for them. Very experienced guy running the V8 Touring Car Series and an ex-Tasman Motorsport VE Commodore, so he's used to driving big, heavy, powerful cars and looking for a change of scenery, so he purchased that car from Keith Kasulki. It's a race-winning car in Touring Car Masters in the hands of Les Walmsley at Phillip Island a few years ago now. 2 to go. This is the fight for third. Bressington still hangs on. If they finish the way they are, it will will be Stephen Johnson, assuming the lead in the Touring Car Masters Series by 3 points. But Adam Bressington will close the margin down to 13, Matt. So it very much will be a factor going into the final race. This is a really good scrap. Bressington yet to win in Touring Car Masters. Camaro hasn't won since 2015, nor has White Line Racing, one of the most experienced and successful teams in the category. Headed up by Bob and Sharon Middleton. Great personalities, very professional outfit. The car always arrives at the next round with perfectly straight bodywork, fresh paint, new stickers, well prepared. This will be a great outcome if they can bring it home. And Adam Bressington has just slotted straight into this outfit like he's been part of the family for a long time. When Andrew Menike hung up the TCM boots at the end of the 15 season.
Gap goes up and down first to second, now it's out to 2.4 seconds. And lap times have dropped off by a full second. Across the first 4 cars, it's down the inside. Karen Pawlowski just got the car pulled up on Cam Tilley. Now Brad Tilley lines up for a shot down there in the car. The return to the Touring Car Masters at Bathurst this year after a big shunt a couple of seasons back. And now Bow looking for the surge down the inside. Won't get it done there, but there was millimetres between the 2 cars at the top of turn 2.
That's like sending someone an invitation to a party and then pulling it out right at the last minute. No, I've decided you can't get down the inside there.
How many times that happened over the years?
To me, a lot. You get all the good invites, mate. It's been a good weekend for you, we know. So, last half a lap. What a drive for Adam Bressington in the Series 250th race. Bow's not done with yet. Have a big look at Hansford. So the Series 250th race, mate, is going to deliver a first-time winner. Couldn't write the script any better. It'll be the 27th different race winner in TCM history. A long drought will break for Camaro and for White Line Racing, and this championship will go down to the final race of the year with 3 points between Johnson and Bow.
What a win from the front row. He grabbed the race lead at turn number 1, and Adam Bressington breaks through. He's had a handful of podiums this year, and that's the first win. Gives us our 7th different winner in the series this year. Johnson will hold down second. Hansford got third by just over a 1/10 of a second. He's been teasing to do this all season long as Adam Bressington, and he breaks through in the 250th race.
Great show. What a good show this weekend has been. Hasn't it been a weekend for swings and roundabouts in championships? And here are the 2 brothers. Brad Tilley's picked up a little bit of
Parking ticket, maybe.
Yeah. So he loses out to his brother, 9th and 10th. Tony Karafalowski just in front of them. Mark King behind in the GTS 350 Monaro. What a race. Well done, Adam Bressington. First Touring Car Masters win. The first win for this team since 2015 in Adelaide. And Stephen Johnson moves to the lead of the TCM series with 1 race to go. Ryan Hansford 3rd, John Bow 4th in front of a feisty Bruce Williams. Great fun to watch the AC Delco Tirana. Cameron Mason on home turf 6th, then Gomersall, Karen Pawlowski, Tilley and Tilley rounding out the 10th.